Grand Rising fam, this is Lyra here. I will be your hostess this morning, and today I wanted to talk about the lazy button, or actually, beyond the lazy button, reclaiming your neural potential. What does it mean to activate full brain function in a dysfunctional world? At 11 years old, a traumatic brain injury and an out of body experience flipped my whole world upside down. The doctors delivered a bleak prognosis. They said I would never fully recover. Boy, were they wrong. Instead of permanent limitation, the trauma actually unlocked dormant regions in my mind. And through sheer stubbornness and an innate spatial dexterity, amplified by being both ambidextrous and dyslexic, my nervous system began the slow, radical process of rewriting itself and rewiring itself. In fact, I've had to rebuild my entire neural network not once, but 3 times. As an artist, a game designer, author, and entrepreneur, operating with both brain hemispheres isn't just a party trick, it is my default state of being. It demands me to apply both lobes as best I can to balance and access more of the neural network to operate. Since my injury happened when I was young, this has always baffled many clinical doctors and therapists. I do also recognize that there are many out there who have experienced a TBI with far less excessive recovery than I. And I speak about each of these topics and others to empower everyone to become more whole brained. What does breaking free from the lazy button look like? The human brain is remarkably malleable, yet modern society often relies on a lazy button, conditioning us toward stagnation and fear-driven compliance. When we rely solely on rigid paradigms, we end up in what my colleague and I call functional disbelief, a state of social cognitive zombieism, where our higher faculties remain largely untapped while mental deficiencies arise, sometimes out of thin air. Consider the ambient drone of our daily lives, non consensual psychological stress from sensationalized news, relentless advertising, and pervasive fear. Recently, I came across a class action suit against a foster home where staff are being held legally accountable for psychological trauma inflicted on children. It raised a critical question in me. If psychological harm is recognized as a crime in court, why do we tolerate the daily onslaught of mental pollution that keeps our minds trapped in survival mode? I believe it is vital for children and adults to learn how to use their entire faculties through learning models, which include ambidexterity, working with dyslexia, OBE, and other out of the box thinking programs. The path to whole brain wellness. We know healing isn't just about recovering from physical trauma. It's about learning and giving ourselves permission on how to use our full faculties again. We need educational and cognitive models that embrace non traditional thinking, integrating ambidexterity, leveraging dyslexia as a processing strength, like reverse engineering. I do that a lot. And exploring unconventional states of consciousness. Now, if I had, when I was in the hospital, been given some of those tools and educational models, I think I would be even further ahead than I am today. Again, I am a stubborn individual, and so I'm going to make it happen whether or not somebody tells me it should happen. What we perceive as reality is ultimately a matter of interpretation. When we shift our internal landscape, our external reality follows. My mission is to help society move beyond inflicted fear and step into whole brained integration and wellness. And now I pass it over to you. How do we actively rewire our brains to foster positive growth in a negatively biased world? What practices help you break out of automatic patterns and access your full potential? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and join the conversation. Follow along for the next piece in this series, where we will dive deeper into the mechanics of cognitive renewal. Grow wild together. I love you and have a wonderful day.